The cold kiss of the rubber stamp hit my cheek. Delilah, Callum's little secretary, giggled as she pulled her hand back, the wine bottle still tilted in her other grip. A literal livestock ink stamp marking me like a piece of cheap meat. In my past life, my palm would have connected with her jaw. I would have screamed for a divorce the second Callum rushed to defend her, looking like a manic housewife. This time, I just tilted my head and gave Callum a serene smile. She's adorable, I said, my voice steady. Have fun playing with her. Let's call this 7th anniversary dinner a wrap. I'm heading home. I grabbed my clutch and walked out of the private dining room. I didn't look back. I couldn't afford a tantrum. In my past life, a messy divorce with Callum left me decimated. He weaponized his legal team, treating me like a hostile corporate takeover and suffocating my finances. I scoured the city for a lawyer, only to walk away with a pathetic $48 to my name. Then came the cancer diagnosis. When the pain pushed me to the brink of death, I swallowed every last ounce of my dignity and fell to my knees at his feet. Callum just stood there. He watched his secretary slap me 3 times across the face and didn't offer me a single cent. Penniless and shivering, I froze to death on the porch of the house I had called home for 7 years. Dignity didn't mean a damn thing if you were dead. Chapter 1. Callum gripped my wrist. Let me explain, Nova, he urged. Delilah is just young. She thought the livestock stamp would be a funny joke to make you laugh. She doesn't have a mean bone in her body. We grew up together, and she's always been mischievous. She sees you as my wife and just lost track of boundaries for a second. Don't hold it against her. The exact same script from my past life. Back then, the humiliation of that ink on my face sent tremors through my entire body. Hearing his gentle, patient tone wrap around Delilah like a protective blanket triggered a blind rage. I slapped Callum right in front of our entire social circle, screamed for a divorce, and bolted from the room. I was so naive. I actually thought the threat of leaving him held power. I spent 4 hours wandering the streets, icy winter rain soaking through my clothes, tears blurring the streetlight. My heels rubbed raw, leaving bloody footprints inside my shoes. I spiked 104-degree fever. While I lay shivering in our bed, gasping for air, my phone never rang once. Not a single call from Callum. Instead, he boarded a red-eye flight to Europe for a business trip with Delilah. By morning, a video of him adjusting her slip dress strap while she kissed his cheek went viral on his company's internal forums. I let out a cynical, hollow laugh at the memory. Callum's grip tightened before he suddenly shoved my hand away, his features twisting with irritation. How many times do I have to spell it out for you? She's the daughter of Theodore, my dad's business partner. I'm just looking out for her, he snapped. It's just ink, Nova. Go home and wash it off. Stop making up toxic scenarios in your head and acting like a jealous maniac over nothing. The sheer annoyance in his eyes hit me, bringing a sudden ache to my chest. Not for the man standing in front of me, but for the pathetic version of myself from a past life. After the divorce, I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, a disease notorious for causing the most agonizing pain imaginable. Every single day was a battle. Nurses jabbed massive needles into my bruised veins while I sobbed uncontrollably, my face completely drenched in tears. I spent nights curled in a fetal position on the cold bathroom floor. My nails dug into my abdomen as I writhed, screaming to whatever God was listening to just stop my heart and end it. When the money completely dried up, the agony drove me insane. I took a paring knife and dragged the blade across my skeletal frame, praying the sting of new wounds would distract my nervous system long enough for me to sleep through the night. Even then, starving and dying, I refused to pawn his wedding ring for painkillers. When Dr. Ramsey handed me a 1-month death sentence, my broken mind still clung to an illusion. I dragged my decaying body across town, desperate to beg Callum to take me back. He had sworn an oath over my parents' grave. He had promised to protect me until his dying breath. I dragged myself to the gates of our old estate. I fell to my knees, scraping my forehead against the concrete until Randy, the security guard, finally took pity and radioed Callum. I managed to choke out his name through the speaker. Nova, we are divorced. Callum's voice crackled, chillingly flat. That means we are strangers. Whatever drama you're dealing with, leave me out of it. Do not ever contact me again. The line went dead. My legs gave out. I collapsed into the dirt behind the sprawling house we had shared for 7 years. As my vision faded to black, the sheer drapes of the dining room parted. I watched Callum pull Delilah against his chest. They were eating off the imported plates I had bought, drinking from the crystal stems I had handpicked in Italy. They kissed, wrapped in my home, bathed in a warm light, while I took my last shivering breath in the dark. Chapter 2. My chest ached so much I could barely breathe. I shoved the memories of my rotting body down and forced a placid smile. Callum, I'm not playing the jealous wife. I'm really not mad at Delilah, I said, my voice eerily calm. I'm just exhausted. Go back inside. A flicker of genuine shock crossed his features. I did not even wait for him to process it. I just turned and walked away into the street. I pulled out my phone and dialed the private clinic, booking an urgent VIP screening with a specialist for tomorrow morning. I just wanted to survive this time. The line disconnected just as the front door of our townhouse clicked open. Callum strode in, impatiently tugging his silk tie loose. What the hell was that little stunt on the street? He snapped. Nova, can you stop throwing a tantrum over every little thing? Ever since Delilah took over as his secretary, he had been hypercritical. Nothing I did was ever good enough. His constant gaslighting, combined with her petty little provocations, was exactly what drove me clinically insane in my past life. My chest ached. I forced down the bitter lump in my throat and turned to face him. Callum, believe whatever you want. I'm not mad. I'm not being toxic, and I'm not throwing a fit, I said smoothly. Look, the ink is gone. I washed it off. I don't have the energy to fight you, and I certainly don't have the nerve to cross Delilah. I spun spun on my heel, walked straight into the master bathroom, and shoved the heavy door shut, twisting the lock into place. When I finally stepped out, the bedroom was empty. My phone buzzed relentlessly on the nightstand. A stream of iMessage notifications lit up the screen. It was Delilah's favorite power play. Whenever she was alone with Callum, she bombarded me with candid photos of them together. She treated my inbox like her personal scrapbook. Those little digital taunts used to break me. I would sob until my throat bled or scream at Callum until I lost my voice. This time, I just swiped open the chat and studied the blurry club lighting before offering a genuinely helpful critique. Your angle is all wrong. Callum's side profile is his best feature. Hold the phone a little higher next time. Also, you left too much negative space in the frame. Crop it tighter so you guys look more intimate. The typing bubble appeared immediately. Did someone hack your phone? I sent back a simple smiley face emoji. No, just giving you a heads up. He is all yours. I hit send and immediately blocked her number. This twisted little arrangement worked perfectly for me now. I get to keep the wife title and the unlimited Amex. Delilah can have his body and his baggage. The pathetic girl who only wanted her husband's love died a long time ago. Chapter 3. That night, the luxury of a second life didn't buy me a peaceful sleep. My brain looped the same haunting flashbacks of my past with Callum, exactly like it did when the pancreatic cancer was eating me alive. As a kid, Callum was painfully introverted. He barely spoke. His mother, Eleanor, a ruthless prep school disciplinarian, beat the silence out of him. I would wake up at midnight, glance out my bedroom window, and see him hunched over his desk. He wore these thick, heavy glasses, furiously scribbling through test prep packet. Eleanor hovered over his shoulder, gripping a wooden yardstick. Every time his pencil hesitated or he got an equation wrong, the wood cracked hard against his spine. I lived right across the street. Watching him flinch under those blows night after night twisted my gut. Whenever I scored some Jolly Ranchers or chocolate, I would sneak up to him before the school bell rang. I'd slip the candy into his backpack, flash him a grin, and whisper, Callum, whenever your back stings, eat one. The first time I did it, a deep furious red flushed his cheek. I had run 100 yards away before he finally choked out a raspy, defensive mutter. I don't eat sugar. I just turned around, walking backwards, and waved. You should talk more, Callum. You have a really nice voice. It became our unspoken ritual. Callum, the boy who pushed everyone away, started waiting for me at the corner of our street. He waited for me to drop the candy into his bag. We walked down that same cracked suburban sidewalk together, surviving a blur of freezing winters and sweltering summers. Then came senior year. Callum graduated valedictorian and secured a full ride to an Ivy League university. One afternoon, he pushed his thick glasses up his nose, shifting his weight nervously, and shoved a crumpled community college brochure into my hands. I looked into this campus. It's only a 10-minute walk from my dorms, he mumbled, avoiding my eyes. Your SAT scores aren't high enough for a university, but you can get your associate's degree here. I stared at his shifting gaze. I never told him the truth. I never told him that my parents, Russell and Valerie, had held a panicked family meeting the night before. They swore they would drain their retirement savings to send me to an expensive private out-of-state college, just so I could get a real degree. Instead, I secretly turned down the private university and enrolled in the community college. When they found out, the screaming match shook our house to its foundation, but I never regretted it. We moved to the same city. The second Callum escaped Eleanor's shadow, he had a massive glow-up. He ditched the Coke bottle glasses for contact. He let his rigid buzz cut grow into soft, dark curls. His entire wardrobe shifted overnight. Goodbye, stiff plaid shirts. Hello, crisp white button-downs. Even those beat-up black sneakers he wore for years were replaced by pristine white Nikes. I honestly had no idea what sparked the sudden reinvention. Not until the day I started squealing over a pop star bringing his tour to our city. Callum snapped. He grabbed my wrist, his knuckles turning white, his eyes flashing with a raw, red-rimmed intensity. I changed into exactly the kind of guy you obsess over, he gritted out, his voice trembling. And you still can't look at me like that? The realization that he actually liked me slammed into my chest like a sledgehammer.